Hello again. We're back. It's a day later, and I haven't changed. It's because I work from home. But anybody else change clothing? One person. Other people haven't. People
So,
who work from home.
so,
Okay.
so, Johnny, can you explain to us how the two forks behaved? And I'll let you do the talking because I'm very sick right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there was the beginnings of it yesterday, but he's been coughing up quite a bit before we started recording here. Poor man. Go see a doctor. But anyway, yes. So as of yesterday, we now have on screen the effect that creating two chains, forks has had. You can see here the chain density in the top right is the difference between chicken, which is green, and pig, which is yellow. Top right, Mike, you're on the left right now. Yes. On the chain density, you can see that the chicken just dropped way down because we had fewer chicken SPOs running than pigs, so that the pigs could take over. Density is how often within a minute, in a percentage term, blocks appear. So it's about 1.21% on chicken relay at the moment. In a 60-second period, a block appears. The target is usually 5%, which is the equivalent of 3 blocks in a 60-second period. You can see that the pig chain relay, the pig chain, also dropped in density, but not by as much, and it seems to have hovered out around 3%, which is because there were more SPOs on the pig chain than there were on the chicken. But yes, because of that difference in density, it means that the pig relay or the pig chain was able to take over and make a very big block difference. Now we go to the left, Mike. On the left-hand side here, about there's a difference between them, and the difference of blocks between the two forks or chains is 1,000. How much?
1,544 blocks ahead.
So that means that the pig chain is ahead by that many blocks, and then you can see the difference between them on the top left, that graph, where the chicken chain is way, way below the pig. And as we said yesterday, that after 432 blocks on both chains, it's impossible for either chain to automatically roll back. So we're at the point now where if we tried to get back on chicken, we'd have to do it manually. Anyone on a pig relay SPO would have to truncate using DB-Truncator, which is a tool, and then upgrade their node to the patched version, or roll back to the one that didn't have the bug, and from the truncated database resync and get back on chicken. But we want to prove this, that it's impossible for an automatic rollback to happen at this point. And we're going to prove this by increasing the amount of chickens in the mix and have that green line catch up to the pigs and then take over the pigs so that the green line goes above the yellow in the left and the green line goes above the yellow on the right. And then what we'll have by the time we come back in a few days' time is this difference will go down and down and down, as Mike's demonstrating with his nice mouse arrow. It'll go down and down and down, and it'll go to zero again. And then once the chickens take over the pigs, it'll start going up again. But the difference this time will be between the chickens being ahead of the pigs.
Yep.
On whenever the main net got fixed, it was the chickens took over the pigs within the time window necessary to be able to automatically resync. This is after that time window. So what we're going to see, if this is true, which it should be, but we're going to demonstrate it, is that even if the chickens take over the pigs at this point, the pigs are still in a separate chain. Cardano on SanchoNet is two separate chains at this point.
Yep.
With their own groups of SPOs. And that would have happened on mainnet if the SPOs hadn't acted as quickly as they did, as we said yesterday. Even though the patched version of the node was available, or people could revert to an older version, it still required that action. And without that action within the time frame, Cardano wouldn't have been fixed. So, yeah,
Emphasizing the fact again that the SPO were very efficient and they saved the day. Thank you,
yeah.
SPOs.
I mean, we had the necessary aversion and instruction to save the day, but
Yes.
without the action being taken, it wouldn't have been saved. So well done again, everybody who helped fix and move to the chicken chin. But yeah, So that's where we are. We have shown there's a huge difference between the two chains. We have shown where well we are past the locking slot where you can't roll back, and we're going to prove that in a few days' time by adding more chickens, and they'll take over the pigs. And then we'll come back in the next video, which is a few days later, where the green line will be above the yellow, and that's where we are.
Yep. And once this is done, once this is finally proven, me and Johnny will explain exactly to you how to truncate the chain in the event that you, as an SPO, would have to choose which one of the two would be the winner in a different scenario. So you would know how to truncate back if you get past that time frame that we're talking about. All right?
This is what happened on preview. So it's already been proven out on preview. A number of people didn't upgrade to the right patched version or roll back to the patched version in time. So there was a number of preview SPOs that were on pig that should have been on chicken, and chicken got all the way down to like less than a half of 1%. So like minutes between blocks being produced, and it still was able to be recovered as long as the people on the pig chain truncated back to before the problem, upgraded or rolled back, and then resynced that from then. So it is possible to do this, but we're going to teach you how to do this in this video that is whenever we come back in a few days' time.
All right, perfect. Hello, everyone.
Hello again. It's time to show you what we said we would. So let's have a look at the charts. So what have you got there, Mike?
I don't have the chart,
Oh, what?
but I know actually it's going to be on the video. So as you can see right here, you see that now the chicken chain has taken over the pig chain. And yet, since we got past the constant value, there is no rollback possible for the pig chain. So what we will do, we will show you how it's done.
Just to
So,
repeat, just to repeat what was described previously, what we now see is what we predicted, which is the chicken chain's color, which I believe is green, is now above the yellow pig chain. And what would have happened, what did happen in the mainnet scenario was it was done quickly enough when this overtook that everybody who was on the pig chain resynced to the chicken. But because we waited longer to get chicken ahead of pig after the locking slot, the point at which there was no return, no automated rollback happened on any of the chicken chain node. The pig chain nodes to go back over to chicken. So yeah, you'll also see in that chart that what we said would happen with the blue line, the one that was showing a reduction in difference between the two chains went down until zero, and then the difference started going up again. But the upward trend came from the fact that chicken overtook pig. So it caught up to and overtook if you're looking at that chart. But yeah, but as Mike has said, it didn't automatically roll back. It didn't move to the larger chain because it was long past the point of no return. So now we're having to do a little tutorial here for people who are ever in that scenario, which happened on preview. They have to manually truncate back to a block before the split happened, so way back, and make sure to have the upgraded version of their node that has the bug fix if there was a bug, and then resync from there. And then they'll be able to join the longer chain, which is the chicken chain. So there you go.
absolutely true. So as you can see right now, the chain density of the pig chain is down to 1% because everybody already started to migrate to the chicken chain. And that's what we're going to do right now. So it's impossible to do it manually.
Sorry, it is possible to do it manually. It's impossible
Oh,
not to do it manually.
automatically. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. Now, since we're going back in time, I need the block number. That is going to be a block number right before the fork that we did. So I want to
Mhm.
go back in time before this event, and the block number is, I wrote it somewhere. Let me just scroll up. There it is. That is the 3,800,000 something. I'll put it over there. There you go. And we'll show you the command. Let's do it. Okay, so I'll just copy paste that and we'll explain right here. That should be it. Oh, actually, the path here is not the right one. Let me change this.
So what you've got here is a command that is put into DB-Truncator that allows you to do that deletion back to that block number that was defined, which would probably be communicated if there was ever mainnet advice to do this.
Yep.
And then the command will go to your local database folder for your Cardano node, go back to that block, and then you have to point to where your config.json file exists, which on different machines is different. If someone's using CN tools, it'll probably be in opt Cardano C node files. But yeah, there's various places it can be depending on what guide you use.
Right. It's really convenient that it only requires the config file and the database path. But we will have to manually delete the volatile memory though, because it's probably not going to work. Maybe it's worth
Yeah,
mentioning.
so the truncator deletes stuff that's in the immutable history, but you need to then run a secondary command to delete things that is in your local ledger file, volatile file, or directory. Sorry, these are separate directories that have snapshots or current stuff that hasn't yet gone into the immutable history. So yeah, if you just truncate on its own, it may not work because it's contradicting itself whenever you start your node. It's got a bunch of recent data that hasn't been put into that specific place. But yeah, there's some additional commands to run, which we'll show you in a moment as well.
Okay, so now.
All right, so it's finished truncating, and we can see that it has a new tip back in the past. So as we said already, there are some additional directories that have other stuff in them, and there's a command to run to be able to delete what's in them. Well, the command itself would be to remove, yeah, it's on screen now, to remove the ledger, volatile, and then clean file, which, I mean, that's belt and braces. If you remove the clean file, it will make sure to actually sync the node from scratch to make sure it's fine, rather than skipping over it and pretending everything's fine without checking.
There you go. This is going for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, since I'm already in the database directory,
Yeah, he's
so
in the database folder. I can see that. So yeah, bye ledger, volatile, and the clean file. The clean file, if it's there, would start the node and just bypass doing any checks to make sure that the chain has integrity, which you don't want to do after you've truncated the chain because you want to make sure it's actually working as expected. Now, this means it'll take longer to start when you restart it because it'll have to go from Genesis and check all of the blocks and make sure that everything's nice and tidy. But yes,
phenomenal.
provided that Mike has updated to 10.5.3, the fact that he's gone back to the block before the cursed poison transaction that we submitted earlier in a previous video, and it no longer will accept that block because it's been patched, it should go down the path of chicken. But we'll see what actually happens. Okay, so it is finished doing the replay, and this is the kind of thing you're going to see while it's catching up to the chicken chain in this case, or whatever the future problem is. You can see it repeatedly saying that there's a new extended tip, or a new tip chain extended. It's going through all of the blocks that it missed on the alternative chain. While it was on pig chain, it was on the wrong direction. And as Mike said at the beginning of this video, the density went down to 1% because most people on SanchoNet had already done this truncation exercise and moved over by the time we got to making this video. Now what's happening is that this is catching up to the chickens, and we'll be able to see it get to the expected block number and tip reference over the next number of minutes. But yeah, it's 99.6% synced because we've gone back in time, as we said, to before the problem first occurred. And we're syncing it up to date to be on the chicken chain from pig. But that's the only way to do it now because it wouldn't have automated its changeover. So this is what you do, and what we'll do is we'll validate that against mine. So I'm going to log in and see what tip number I'm on the chicken chain, because I never left it on my machine. So let's go have a look. So on my machine, the current tip of the chain is 786,93062 slot, which does match up to what Mike is now seeing as the tip of the chain for slot number reference. So yeah, he's on the right one. It's got the correct tip.
There's another way to verify this. So what we did last time, I sent the entirety of the available supply that I was honing, so 36 billion ADA, to Kinetic. And I did that on the pig
on the pig chain.
on the pig chain.
So that whenever we reverted everyone, he would no longer have that huge stash.
No.
So this is how you do it, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. You run the truncator, you clear out your volatile, your ledger, and remove the clean file to make sure it does a full replay of everything, verifies that everything's clean, and then it will go down the right path, because whatever bug that occurred in the future, if there is another one, will be fixed by the patch version of the node. And as long as you go back in time far enough, you'll be able to bypass the problem as it occurred in the first place. So there's your public service from us about how to do this in the future.
Yeah, and if you do have to truncate, make sure you're connected to the right peers. That's very important. So you build the database you're looking for, right? So make sure you do know who.
So yeah, if you don't have a connection to people that are on the correct chain, the one that's been decided to be correct by the community, if you don't have the right connections to people who have that correct chain, you're not going to be able to build it. So there'll be guidance probably in any future event of like, make sure to include these IP addresses in your topology file before restarting on your updated patched node. Just to make sure you're able to actually sync the blocks to bring you back up to the current. And then after you've done that, you can remove those peers, because it'll go back to normal P2P operation and pick up, automatically. Here's the thing, a big tip here. Make sure if it's a block producer you're truncating, to truncate the block producer last, because you're normally only getting your blocks from the relays that your producer is connected to. And if your relays haven't been fixed and put on the correct chain, they're not going to serve the correct blocks to your isolated block producer. So run the truncation on any relays you have outside of your block producer first. Make sure they get onto the correct chain, get up to the current tip, and then once they've updated and got everything up to date, up to the current block, then do the truncation on your block producer, so that it doesn't get confused and takes the clean, correct chain history.
We are on tip. So I got 3835874.
I can confirm I have the same. 3835874 is the most recent block, and we're 10 seconds, 11 seconds. Yep, we're synced.
Awesome. So this is how you do this.
Chain density is currently 3.708, so it's below the expected 5, but that's because there are still some nodes over on PigChain. But they'll get this guidance about what to do with Truncator. They'll do that, and they'll come over and we'll be up to 5 again, as expected. But yeah,
correct. That's it.
That's how you do it, manually instead of automatically.